What's up? What's going on with you? And I mean with you, not with you, but with you. That's some of that good southern slang. Mr. Ogunlana coming at you. Today is Thursday, November 23rd, 12:18 p.m. So, first things first, yesterday was much more productive than the day before last. I was at about, I want to say 84% productivity. Out of 51 tasks, I believe I completed about 43 tasks. And I feel really good about that, man. I feel like, man, I think I'm going to have me a streak, man. I need to be able to get at least 84 and up % productivity, man. And don't be skipping on the task either. If I can keep that up, when I keep that up, for maybe 3 consecutive days, then I'd like to give myself a reward. Now, I have to think about what that reward is going to be, but I really like that 84% percentile. I'm really digging that. I stayed up last night to complete some extra tasks just so that I can keep my productivity where it need to be, man, because I was just like, you know what, I'm not going to bed and being at 60% productivity. I'm just not doing it. I just know I'm going to earn some sleep, and I'm going to go ahead and knock some more of these tasks out. So I did a bunch yesterday, and what I probably will be doing is I probably will be sharing some of my system and my tasks. Basically, right now I'm writing everything on my board. I'm looking at my be-do-have list, and then I'm kind of taking each day from the day before last or the couple days before to look at all the tasks I didn't do and do them, and put them on the board. So today is Thursday. I try to take lighter days on Thursdays just to study and rest and recharge. I'm doing some community service right now. I'm about to go to my grandmother's house, trim her hedges right on up, and I'm about to go get me a smoothie. Shout out to Arden's Garden. So yes, I did a few things yesterday. I'm appreciative of my productivity. Very happy about my productivity. I'm looking forward to upgrading my office space. My office space right now is kind of, how do you say, shabby. Right now, I'm kind of shabbily I've shabbily put it together, and it's worked. Now I will say it's worked for me. Now I have just almost like a small desk, but it's really more of like a custom wood piece that I made actually, and I put my computer on top of that, and then I sit on the sofa, and it's almost like it's as large as one of those TV dinner stands, and I have one of those aerobic style chairs with the yoga ball, and I sit on top of that, and that's okay. But the great thing about that is it's mobile, and I can move around in it, and I can use it for stretching and things of that nature. So the chair isn't that bad. It's just really. It's actually not, my setup isn't that bad. Now, what I will say is I do need one of those stands for my laptop so that it can kind of sit erect up instead of me having to stack it on top of books. I need one of those stands for my laptop, so I'm going to keep putting that out there in the universe. I know that's going to be coming to me soon. I have $1,000 a week goal that I'm striving for, and I will say that life has sent me a few of those, how do you say, monkey wrenches, and I've been bobbing and weaving like Muhammad Ali, floating like a butterfly, stinging like a bee, man. I really have been like really bobbing and weaving and moving and grooving, so to speak, and so I've been able to have some success still, even though it's been a lot of changes. And what's interesting is I'm trying to think how much of this I want to say on it. Let's see. I'll say it this way. So I have made it made it a point, rather, to not be caught up with any bullshit, period. And so I want to congratulate you in the future for getting this message, that in your present time you can pat yourself on the back for not getting caught up with BS at all. Just don't even allow yourself to even allow thoughts to even be swirling around your head. If you have thoughts that swirl around your head and they keep coming, write it down and challenge it. Because your thoughts need to be peaceful and open, so that you can be open for the ideas that you need. One thing that you haven't done, and you did it this morning. Well, no, you didn't. So one thing you need to do, you need to make sure you add this to your ritual. I know in the mornings, because I wake up, and most mornings I wake up and I be having things to do immediately. And because I go to sleep around 3, 4 o'clock, well, not 4 o'clock, definitely 2, 3 o'clock. That's been like an average. I've been averaging, so I get up at 6, and then I go to bed at 3 a.m. And I pretty much, most days, I try to, on average, get at least 1 or 2 hour naps in between, because I know I'm going to stay up later. So I pretty much have maybe about 19 to 20 hour days, and give or take the nap time. I try to take a nap, so it's probably like 18 to 20 hour days. And I definitely use most of that time. Yesterday, I spent some time looking at Xamarin. One thing I will say that is worth honorable mention is the project. I'll call it Project Oduduwa. And I started that project yesterday. I put it on Bitbucket. I'm really proud of myself about that. I started I have this investment that I'm taking right now. Yes, I be taking some risks, ladies and gentlemen, because I am teaching Xamarin for the purpose of learning the inner workings of Xamarin, because I have an app that I want to create using Xamarin. And so I have accumulated enough knowledge, wisdom, and understanding at this point to start the project. It's going to be an iOS, Android project. And shouts out to Art and Garden. I done drove all the way over here and it's closed. So moving right along. So yes, I'm gonna have a Android iOS project that is, what is today? Thursday? Note to self: most things are closed over here. It's 12 o'clock. That's interesting. I'm in Little 5 Points, by the way. Little 5 has a lot of shops and markets that provide a variety of stuff. If you haven't been to Little 5, this is Memorial Drive, Euclid, not Memorial, but Moreland Avenue and Euclid, down here by Freedom Parkway in Atlanta. If you haven't been to Little 5 Points, and you live in Atlanta, I'm not sure what rock you've been living on under your whole life, but you need to come down here, because it's a lot of things that you need to expose yourself to this here. So anyway, Android iOS project. And today what I'm going to be doing, she has a nice waistline. Anyway, so it's an Android iOS project. And I've been watching some videos on Xamarin, and I've started the project. Today I'm going to be building up some of the infrastructure to the project. I know some of the main pieces to it, and I think that I will be able to develop this app faster than I think, because of all of the work that I have done. I wonder if there's like a smoothie place over here. Let's see. I'm gonna ride over here on, what is this? The Edgewood Shopping Center Plaza down the street from Euclid. I just want a good smoothie. So anyway, nothing's open. So anyway, it's that kind of a project. And so I'm gonna start, and I'm gonna be building out the infrastructure for the project today, or at least the core pieces, because I've been building it out because I've had other projects that I've been working on that has similar pieces to that I'm gonna be utilizing. And my core web framework is coming together. By the way, I have the makings of a core web framework that I'm going to be using for my new and upcoming clients. That's going to help me go from 0 to 100 really quick, and really focus on the meat and potatoes, which is designing the pages and building designing the web pages, adding the JavaScript functionality, the endpoints, and designing the database and building out the business logic and entities. Everything else is infrastructural, such as the architectures that transfer the data from the client to the database. And so I do have a core web framework, and I'm excited about that. I'm going to be building out my core mobile framework with this first Xamarin project that I'm going to be doing. I'm really excited about that. I've been watching videos, I've been tutoring, I've been reading, and I feel like I'm ready, ladies and gentlemen. And so what I'm going to be doing as I start development, I have some screenshots, or excuse me, a PDF that's essentially the walkthrough for it. And what I like to do is, what would be great is to have that in HTML. That would be great, just so that people could click through it and see it online. And because I have the code, it's hosted right now on marvelapp.com, and Marvelapp is the mobile wireframe creation tool that I recommend. Even though I haven't actually built anything, I had it built. I had a designer build it out in the wireframe in Marvelapp, so that I can, when I get to this development point, I have pretty much all of it built out. The piece that I'm gonna be making, that I'm gonna start to make at first, is the master detail page. How I'm gonna do the navigation, just kind of set up all the basic page framework stuff. I'm excited about using the MVVM framework, and excited to kind of expose the web API piece to it, and I'm excited about the application. So that's going to be really good. I've been also focusing on handling most of you. And so let me talk about what I've been doing most of the time on, or at least these last couple days, and last week, with my to-do list. Most of the time I have been doing daily obligations like eating, sleeping, cleaning the house, preparing meals, and I also have been doing projects. Most of the time is handling the obligations, doing the projects, and then I also spend. So if I think about the percentage of time that I deal with personal health and hygiene and maintenance of my house, we talk about maybe about 40%. And then maybe the other 60% is on projects. It's about 50% on projects, and then maybe 10% I use for development, for me in general, just development, reading, developing skills and techniques. So if I look at that, 10% of 20 is 2 hours, because I'm just going to round it up to 20. 40%, I just want to get these numbers right. 40%, let me see. Let me just pull up a quick TI-85. Let's see. Times 10%. 10%. So it's 2 hours. So I spend every day roughly about 2 hours on development of myself. Reading, thinking, doing stuff for myself in terms of developing my mind, just developing my skill set in general. I spend about 8 hours eating, sleeping, cleaning, preparing meals, just getting my environment ready, getting my mind ready for the day, getting my body ready for the day, getting my spirit ready, and getting my environment ready. About 8 hours. Then I spend about 10 hours on projects, doing some kind of project each day, whether it's tutoring, whether it's... That's an interesting number. That's an interesting number. Because what I was actually thinking about yesterday, so right now, I have a good number of clients, and it's the holy day here in America, Thanksgiving, and that day is celebrated pretty much in every business and every organization, and there's pretty much downtime that's experienced right now because of that day. And so because of that downtime, 2 of my projects have taken a slower start. 3 of them rather have kind of slowed down, and I have one that's kind of still going right now that I'd like to spend a good amount of time on today, tomorrow, over the weekend. Definitely want to spend a good amount of time on. And excuse me. And so because of all this, I've been thinking the amount of time that I spend on projects. I'm just thinking of all the projects that I have right now. The amount of time that I actually have, I give way more than I get in return on these projects. And that's a good thing. And I know that I could at least bring up the amount of money that I'm receiving in terms of compensation rather, for these projects, because there is just really no comparison. Right now, I'm taking about maybe a quarter of, not even a quarter. If I look at what I would normally charge between what I'm actually charging, and just do some math real quick, I'm charging almost 30%. I'm charging almost 78, close to 70% less than what I would normally charge if I was working on site. And I actually want to double this or triple this. No, I was thinking about quadrupling the amount that I'm making right now from home, considering that what I'm providing in terms of value and service. And so that's another thing that I want to set, especially as I listen to this in the future in a couple of days, and I kind of think about this. Just stop and rewind the tape and go back to what I was just saying a few seconds ago about what I provide and what I'm getting in return. Because what I've been reading is it takes just the same amount of energy to manage a project with big money than it does to manage a project for a small amount. And so why am I cheating myself? This is a question that I want you to ask. You sit down and think about this. Pause the tape. Think about it. Why are you cheating yourself? What are you afraid of? Are you afraid that you won't get any new projects? If you are, what is your goal? What goal do you have for taking these projects? What goal do you have? What criteria do you have? What's the goal? So after you get a certain amount of projects, you need to immediately switch. You need to be adding more money to what you're doing. And you have to think about this process. So this is this is a part of the process that I knew I needed to think about, that it didn't come to me at the time where I was about to set up my personal system to onboard new clients, simply because it just needed I needed some time to experience this, and I needed some time to grow and develop the skill a little bit before it came to this point. So I'm actually making good progress, because now I know I can make at least 5 times as much, because I know the value that I'm providing, especially for my tutoring services, especially for my web development services. And now I'm about to get into mobile development. I was looking at Ruby development the other day, and most jobs, even when Ruby first came out, most of the jobs were remote projects. Python, I'm looking at Python, and I'm also looking at Node. And so these are some skills that I know I'm going to have to learn. And I just need to be diverse when it comes to programming languages. I need to be able to code a multitude of different programming languages in order to get the job done. So I wanted to take this time to tell you I love you, to tell you that even though I didn't really finish all of my thoughts today on this Dreamcast, I call it the Dreamcast, but it's the Dreamcast, that I still am grateful for you. I believe in you. I give thanks for you and everything that you do. Know that you have greatness inside of you. And for whatever reason, if you find yourself today with your head hung low, do me this favor and do what my father says, which is, and anytime he caught me with my head hung low, he would stop everything. And he would look at me, and he would make sure I make eye contact with him, and he would say this: "Son, raise your head." And I would add to that you have power inside of you that you have not even realized yet. That you are actually a sleeping giant, a champion. And soon you will realize it, and everybody else around you will too. So keep your head up, maintain a positive mental attitude, stay focused, like my grandfather always told me. And soon, everything that you're looking for in this life, all of your desires, will be right in your hands. Until the next time we speak.